Absurdism begins with a simple but terrifying realization: life has no built-in meaning or purpose. We are thrown into existence without instructions, and the universe remains silent when we ask why we are here. The philosopher Albert Camus called this the absurd, the collision between our desperate hunger for meaning and the cold indifference of the world around us. We want order, but we find chaos. We want answers, but we find silence. And yet, no matter how often life refuses to explain itself, we keep asking the question anyway. Absurdism is not an abstract theory hidden in books. It is something we experience deeply, that moment when you stare at the ceiling at night and wonder what the point of everything is. That moment when school or work feels like a cycle on repeat with no finish line. That sinking feeling that maybe the future is just the past playing on loop. It's the heavy pause when you realize how fragile everything is, how quickly routines and identities can collapse. This is the absurd confronting us head-on. Camus believed that when we see the absurd clearly, we are faced with three possible responses. The first is escape through illusion. We can tell ourselves comforting stories through religion, through politics, through endless distraction, pretending there is an ultimate truth even when deep down we sense it is fragile. The second option is despair, choosing hopelessness or even death as the only honest response to a meaningless world. But Camus rejected both of these and instead pointed to a third path: revolt. The revolt is not violent, it is internal. It means refusing to accept false meaning, but also refusing to give in to despair. If the universe gives us no script, then we are free to write our own, to live without ultimate meaning but with full intensity. This is why Camus turned to the myth of Sisyphus, condemned by the gods to push a boulder up a mountain forever, only to have it roll back down again. Sisyphus is us, human life repeating tasks and routines without ultimate purpose. Work, relationships, ambitions, all of them rise and fall again and again. But Camus insisted we must imagine Sisyphus happy because the meaning is not in reaching the top but in the act of pushing itself. Sisyphus embraces the struggle, and by embracing it, he takes back control. His task may be absurd, but his freedom is real. Absurdism does not ask us to give up. It asks us to live more honestly. It is a rejection of lies and illusions, but also a refusal to collapse into despair. If life has no built-in meaning, then every choice, each act of love, each moment of beauty becomes meaningful because we gave it meaning. Absurdism is not the death of hope, it is the liberation of it. When you stop waiting for life to justify itself, you begin to create your own reasons for living. Camus also warned us of traps in the modern world. We are constantly sold prepackaged meanings: success, wealth, fame, even happiness marketed as products, but these are distractions, ways to silence the absurd instead of facing it. The challenge is to live fully without illusions, to recognize that the universe owes us nothing and still wake up ready to create, ready to struggle, ready to love. And this is where absurdism becomes powerful because it transforms fear into freedom. The absurd is terrifying only when we resist it, when we demand the universe give us what it cannot. But once we accept it, the absurd becomes our ally. We stop asking for guarantees and instead embrace risk. We stop waiting for the perfect moment and instead live the moment we have now. Absurdism is not about resignation, but about intensity, about choosing to live fully even when we know life has no final answer. The philosophy of absurdism is a call to courage. It is a reminder that the struggle itself is enough, that beauty does not need permanence to matter, that love does not need eternity to be real, and that meaning does not need to be handed down from the stars for us to create it here on Earth. The absurd will never vanish. The clash between our need for meaning and the universe's silence will always exist. But maybe that is not a curse but a gift. Because if life were already written, there would be no freedom, no creativity, no risk. But because it is absurd, everything is possible and the meaning we create is uniquely ours.